Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Kara.
My name is Jeron.
And this is Just Kiss Already, the podcast where we watch rom-com content from all kinds of cultures and all different languages and all different walks of life. The only requirement is that I have already seen them.
And that I have not.
That's right. So we're gonna watch, then we're gonna come here, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna laugh about it, maybe cry a little bit. I cry. Jeron, do you cry?
Often and happily.
All right. Well, that's all we need. So, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we are kicking things off with a Korean television drama called Coffee Prince. So Coffee Prince aired in 2007, and it aired for 17 episodes, and it is actually based on a book, which is called The First Shop of Coffee Prince by Lee Sun-mi. So Coffee Prince is like when I first discovered the kind of genre of like Korean dramas, K-dramas, this was one of the first ones that I watched. You know, this was one of the ones that was like, it's kind of like a classic, you know. It's easily one of my favorites. You know, I'm rewatching it right now, but I've rewatched this drama like time and time again before because it's one of those ones that I feel like I can always go back to. It's really enjoyable. It's just kind of fun and silly, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I think that's what I really, really enjoy in like rom-com content, because when you get a bit too heavy on some of the things like the drama or the romance side, it just starts to feel so melodramatic, and you're like, ugh. So Coffee Prince, I think, really balances that like fun comedy side of a rom-com really, really well, which is why I love it so much. Yeah.
Well, as somebody who's never watched a K-drama start to finish, I've watched first episodes of a couple things, but they're pretty long, so usually never even to completion.
Yeah.
Just based on the title and the limited information I have so far, I think this is the story of the Coffee Prince, who is a small, androgynous person.
Okay.
Who uses their love of coffee to gain money and status.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
I think that's my idea going into this.
Where do you think the rom comes in to that setup?
I think maybe there's gonna be like a push and pull between like, okay, I knew you before you were the Coffee Prince.
Oh, so like a childhood,
like an Osana Najimi situation.
I don't know what.
Oh, that's a Japanese word that's used in anime. Okay. It's like a childhood friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Learn something every day, folks.
Yes.
All right.
I do just casually throw that stuff into conversation.
Well, you know what? If there was a place to do it, it's right here. You know?
I agree.
All right. Well, now that y'all know, let's get into it.
All right. So, episode 1 of Coffee Prince.
Yes.
I thought something fun for me to do would be to give each episode like an alternate title.
Ooh.
So, the one I came up with for episode 1 is going to be Assigned Mail at Bathhouse because one of the first things that happens here is our protagonist, Yun-chan. Un-chan, thank you.
You got you.
I
don't know if we're trying our best.
Yeah.
We don't speak Korean.
She's a delivery expert.
Yes.
To use the correct terminology.
Of course.
And she delivers to this bathhouse, is mistaken for mail, and everybody kind of reacts.
Yeah, everyone freaks out. I actually wrote down while I was watching it, why are we ordering takeout in the bath? First off, what's going on?
That's an excellent point, really. I was kind of too distracted by the extras in the background who were just laughing at the situation.
Yeah.
Like, they were sort of participating in the scene, but less so.
I do love the half that are, like, screaming, and then the half that are kind of like, huh, you know.
I did really appreciate the biker aesthetic of the moped, and then, like, the swarms of other mopeds.
Yeah, it starts off, and you're like, oh, it's a racing show, isn't it? And they're like, no, it is not. But you at least get the chance to think it is.
One thing I wasn't expecting was actually the camera quality of this. It's way more similar to soap opera camera than it was to just like what I've seen television drama camera. Because it has like that grit to it.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but that was something that I actually really was surprised with.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know a lot about camera quality, and it's never really been something I've noticed, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I do notice that sometimes when I switch, like if I'm watching, I don't know, like a show on Netflix for a while, and then I switch over to, like, a certain different kind of show, I notice, obviously, that it looks different, it feels different as far as, like, the filming, but, like, I wouldn't have made that connection.
I do have a lot of interesting things to say about what they do with the camera, but the next thing that actually happens is we cut to the interior of a plane, where two people are playing card games. So could you tell us who this is?
Yes. So we meet our main boy. There's always got to be one. So we meet Choi Hong-kyo, who is classic. He's flirting up this girl. He's smooth. He's good at card games. You know, what else could you want? Also, it's pretty evident that they're sitting in like the nice. We're like, oh, we're in first class, aren't we?
They have leg room.
Yeah, they got leg room. So you know, he's chatting up this girl on this plane. Which, frankly, first thing I thought was plane worst place to flirt.
Really?
Like, really? Yeah, I don't know. That, for me, I was like, God.
You don't want to, like, be stuck next to somebody for 4 hours during landing after you've told them, I don't think we should see each other anymore, and you put your sunglasses on?
Yeah, when you put it that way, no. I don't want that to happen to me ever.
Do you think he stood next to her at baggage check and just pretended she didn't exist?
I hope so. I hope... oh my God, I don't even remember. Was she sitting on on the window, or was he sitting by the window?
I'm pretty sure he had an aisle seat.
So I really hope that he, kind of, stayed, so she couldn't even get past him. And
Yeah, she just refuses to use the bathroom for the rest of the flight because it'd just be too awkward.
They had to.
But my question was, and this is the most pressing question I had for the entire episode.
Yes.
Is what card game are they supposed to be playing? Because originally I was like, oh, is it Old Maid or Go Fish? Because there's some kind of, choice element going on.
Uh-huh.
And then they're putting down multiple cards at a time like it's war. But then there's still an entire deck. Are they playing Uno? She says one card. She makes note of the fact that she's holding one card.
You know, I have no idea.
All right, well, I'll make some additional research on that maybe, because that matters to me.
Also, I just want to remind everybody that Eun-chan has not been paid for the delivery that she made. Just wanted to point that out. That was very important to me.
Yeah.
That she showed up, she got ridiculed for the fact that her hair is a bowl cut, and nobody gave her any money. So, you know what? We've already seen this, there's her, who's just nothing works out, and then there's him, who gets to make all of the choices.
Oh, yeah. Pay your workers, kids.
Yeah, please pay the delivery kid.
Then we cut to a bathtub where I thought the same leading boy, he was rehearsing a phone call. But he's somehow talking hands-free.
He has a really good speakerphone.
Oh, yes. This is 12 years before Amazon Alexa.
Oh, yeah,
And
wow.
I was like, I totally thought that was what he was doing. And he's talking to a coffee worker person and business grandma.
Yes, business grandma at her coffee emporium of sorts. Yeah, he's making casual chat. And we very much see this, he's like, hey, I'm back, I'm here. And she's like, what have you been doing? And he's like, haha.
You
Shrug. Know.
Just doing.
And she's like, all right, well, we're going to have a talk. And then, who would appear with the delivery other than our favorite delivery kid, Go-eun-chan?
Of course.
Shows up, is like, I got your food. And, of course, Han-go doesn't even care, is like, you, dick's out.
Yes.
We're here.
I couldn't have said it better myself. His dick is out. And I feel like, for all of our listeners at home, I will make special mention of the many times that a scene occurs with or without Han-kyo's dick just out.
I think the best part is that when Eun-chan notices the dick is out, we get this music playing in the background.
Ooh. That's
like, uh-oh, the dick is out music. I think I actually wrote down...
jaunty piano music, it's in my notes.
Oh my god, where is it? I wrote down dick music, and then I wrote down spooky dick, because she's freaking out, which,
She is having a time.
Fair. His dick is out. A little, you just wanted to deliver the noodles.
Yeah, and they purposely showed this character shirtless in one of his first scenes, because obviously this actor works out. He has trapezius muscles.
He's gotta.
That's sort of his defining characteristic, is that he's usually in a bathrobe. At least that was my takeaway.
So we get the second time in the first 10 minutes, somebody is ordering food while in the bath. And also the second time that nobody pays Eun-chan for delivering the food.
That is unfortunate.
No payment is made.
I actually didn't notice that she didn't get paid because I was too busy slowing down and enhancing the footage to see if he even had leg hair. because I think my final conclusion was
Does
that
he?
he does have some fine hairs.
Okay.
He might not shave.
Okay.
But I mean, this will develop later on because of the direction that this plot goes.
Mm-hmm.
There might be significance to whether or not he shaves his legs.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you cued in on it because I didn't at all.
It was one of my first thoughts.
I was more focused on the fact that Eun-chan was just staring at his dick, and he was not even like, oh shit, my dick's out. He was like, nope.
He was impressed with himself.
Yeah.
He was like, that
he
guy.
Was like, I'm pretty.
That guy was looking, huh? And then outside against the back of his door, Eun-chan remarks, all day long I've been seeing naked people. And then comically her knees start shaking, and I wasn't sure if this was a reference to the fact that she's like a worker who is exhausted, or if she was affected by the dong of Han-gyul.
It was too impressive.
Quite literally weak in the knees.
Oh my god.
We cut from there to babies learning taekwondo.
Yes, I wrote down great just visual portrayal of being a teacher. Eun-chan does this like sick move and is like, wow, I'm pretty good at this. And the kids are just running around.
Oh yeah.
We don't even know. They all got to go to the bathroom. Classic small child behavior.
Oh, it's great that you mentioned the bathroom because somebody comes in calling Eun-chan, and one of the children marks, "Oh, Master Ko's toilet must be clogged again."
Yeah.
Which sets up this really interesting dynamic between Eun-chan and the character who I believe is her landlord.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We find out so much more about him.
He wears many hats.
We roll up and he's like, hey, unclog the toilet. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, pay me your rent. And then he's doing poetry while like tenderizing meat. And we're like, what? What do you do, sir?
I couldn't tell if this was an issue of the translation that I watched in particular, but he does remark that at his age, he is having trouble controlling his sphincter muscles.
Oh my god.
Do you remember that in the rewatching?
I don't remember that
all right.
at all.
Okay, well, it could have just been a poor translation.
Oh man, it's totally possible though. There's a lot of we get into some cool fun bathroom talk.
Now this was something that I picked up on. It might go nowhere, or it might be the central conflict.
All right, lay it on.
So they mentioned a new kickboxing gym across the street.
Yes.
And so Taekwondo, of course, invented in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I figured they were setting up what I wrote here is a Barbershop 2 back in business situation where there is a competing gym across the street.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, is this Han Kyul's gym? Is this where he's going to be? Because he's ripped. And I'm like, is this the in-universe reason? But the show is called Coffee Prince, not Kickboxing Prince.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong.
Well, that is a great theory. I am not going to comment one way or the other for the sake of not spoiling what goes down.
All right.
But great. Very good.
Okay.
All right. So we unclog the toilet because we've got it.
We do it.
It's important to do. Then Eun-chan gets a call from her sister.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
So Eun-chan gets this call and is like, what? Because Eun-chan has had a day. Eun-chan is not here to sweetly answer the phone and say, hey sis, what's going on? Chan is like, what do you want? And her sister is immediately being like, hey boyfriend, come here. And Eun-chan doesn't even blink, which is great because that means we know, oh, this is not like
this is routine.
This is I'm pretty sure I actually wrote down like how many times have they done this, because it's very much just kind of like, come help me out. Me, your younger sister, is in a situation, except we're pretending that you're my boyfriend, of course.
Yes.
Which yeah, so then Eun-chan is like, all right, gotta go save my sis, and rolls up, is at the window. And
yes, they cut to overgrown diner.
Yeah.
And
yes.
we hear this yet unseen character saying, I love girls with skinny arms and legs and a big head just like you. So he has this very blow pop definition of beauty, I commented.
He really loves them.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like a Tootsie Pop. That's
So this character, I don't think his name is given in this episode.
No, we do not.
Later on, Sai refers to him as a blockhead.
Mm-hmm.
So for me internally, I've been referring to him as Charlie Brown. So if you wanna go along with that,
that's totally okay with me. I I don't know if this is the translation that I was rewatching, or if this is, but I was also at some point Unchan just kept calling him carrot, like some form of like carrot, sweet carrot, boiled
That's
carrot.
Sweet.
And I was like, all right, this is Carrot Boy. Just all
right,
way.
I like Carrot Boy, Charlie.
All right, yeah.
CB, we'll meet in the middle.
All right, so CB is here.
Yes.
And he's like, date me. And Sister is like, no. And then Unchan rolls up and is like, hey.
In her gi.
Yeah. It literally just straight out of Taekwondo, not even practice, Taekwondo, like, lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And is like, what is going on? Somebody tell me what's happening.
She is incredibly flippant about the entire situation. She sits down and she says, look, I'm the breadwinner in my family.
Yeah.
And I'm like a master of Taekwondo. And she's like, you don't stand a chance.
I do very much love her just coming in and just like, you can see on her face how many times she's had to do this.
Yes.
Just being like, listen, just please go away now. I've had a day. I don't need this. You don't need this. Let's get out. And he is, of course...
He needs this.
He needs this. He's
CB, after being mildly bullied by Yunchan, they do a smash cut to an eating contest.
That's right. The only way to fight for the love of the woman that you want is to eat.
Yes. And what are they eating?
Jjajangmyeon, which is like black bean noodles.
Yes, yeah. I did a little bit of research.
Oh, good.
I saw this phrase that I didn't know, and I was like, oh, that looks like a food word. So I started doing research. This is all credit to Wikipedia, of course. Mm-hmm. The original restaurant for this dish is in Shandong province of China, which has since been converted into the Jjajangmyeon Museum.
Whoa, that's dope.
It's been completely Koreanized, actually.
Yeah?
So the name would translate to something else in Korean, but they pronounce it as a transliteration of the original Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the visual shorthand that I think they were implying with having them eat this meal in particular was that it became a cheap meal that anyone could eat and afford in post-war Korea during the 50s. So it's an affordable thing, which makes sense because they're setting up this juxtaposition of, like, protagonist of no means and leading boy of all the means.
Yeah.
So yes, that was my little bit of research that I did.
Thanks for sharing. That's pretty good.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, we get into this eating contest, and we're shown this CB. He's got this burning determination. He's got fire in his eyes, love in his heart, and he starts going ham. Oh, and yeah. I think I even wrote down, I was like, so we're just having this noodle eating contest, and there's just French music playing beneath it because why not, right?
I was too engrossed in the little animated heads that appear at the bottom of the screen.
The counter are very good.
Oh yeah, they drew Unchan like very deliberately as like a gremlin child with sharp teeth and a headband. So there's several times where CB looks like he's getting ahead, and then Sai will be like, clean your plate, because he's leaving them empty.
Yeah, he's trying to cheat. He doesn't want to eat all of the black beans. He's trying to cheat. Meanwhile, Unchan is going slow, but is having a great time.
Very deliberately puts bowls together and shakes them out into each other, I believe.
Is like, is going for all the little side dishes, is really just getting in there, having a great time.
And this plays into CB's growing sense of nausea.
Okay, so then we get to a point where it's like the sisters lock eyes and they know what to do. Mm-hmm. And we just get into this like, we gotta show everyone this stomach of steel that Unchan has. And that I want to know, I feel like the whole calling my older sister to pretend to be my boyfriend to scare off this boy who's trying to hit on me is a normal thing. I want to know how many times the eating contest has been used as a means to get a boy to go away.
I really feel like it's a testament to their resourcefulness.
Yeah.
That they're like, not only will we deal with this problem, we will eat tonight.
Yeah.
And he will pay for it.
Yeah.
So, among the things that they do to gross CB out, we were talking a little bit about this earlier.
Oh my god,
I thought she was pouring red wine vinegar over some of the noodles.
I, for some reason, was like, it's Coca-Cola.
Either way, it does a good way of showing how the gross out is happening.
Yeah. So we start with a little cola, or maybe red wine vinegar. Yeah. This'll be...
One of the hotly debated things in the Coffee Prince fandom.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
We start with that. We get into yogurt.
Yeah.
We stir some yogurt
They
in.
pour their whole product placement, Sai does, into
Yeah.
CB's bowl.
Not to mention we like cut over to see like spitting food out and then slurping it back up.
Ugh.
There's just kind of like general grossness going on. Also, meanwhile, the sister is like whispering nasty things
Yes.
at him.
Just like weird little poetry
Just
of grossness.
real gross.
Oh, man.
And Unchan just going for it. Having a good time, but CB, he's not.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not okay.
He becomes ill, and the evil is defeated.
That's right. We win.
And then we cut to Hangyu. We're going back and forth between our leads here.
Hangul.
Hangyo.
There's an L at the end.
Gyo. Okay.
Yeah.
He's talking to his father.
Oh yeah, we get introduced to this really fun relationship that is the stark difference between the treatment of Hangul with his female family members, aka mom and grandma, versus Hangul with dad, and it's just like fun clash.
Oh yeah.
God.
Jeez. Let's see. They talks to his father, and grandmother is sort of outside being like, "Oh, they used to be cool with dad."
Yeah, we get a little bit of little setup there.
Yeah, we'll call that foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so curious how this relationship went this way.
Yeah.
Because it's literally in a room with his dad, and his dad would rather listen to music with, like, big headphones on.
Yeah.
And he's, like, almost, like, happy about it. He's like, okay, I'll just, like, sit here and pretend that we talk.
Thank God we don't have to talk.
Oh, goodness.
So then he escapes the tension that is his dad's study.
He heads out.
He heads out and he's like, "Hey, Mom, hey, Grandma, the two family members that I do want to talk to."
Yeah, and he sort of gets cut off by Grandma right away.
Oh, yeah.
With the, "You're looking good." And then we get, like, a non-diegetic gong sound to a cutaway, revealing a scroll that says, "Beat him to the punch."
Oh, yes. Because before he walks out, so while he's set up in office with Dad,
yes,
Mom and Grandma are talking about, listen, we gotta marry him off.
Oh.
We're reaching a point where he needs to marry a woman. Classic setup for any kind of romance content. But especially this genre that we're dipping into right now is that whole, like, protagonist needs to marry someone because they're too old, and we as parents need it to happen.
Of course.
So they talk about how they have this plan, and, like, she's writing it on the notepad, and, like, me nor you nor I, neither of us can read Korean, so neither of us, like, know what that is.
I tried.
So she's actually writing this plan, and when we start to actually talk to Hangul, that's when we see, like, we get this cool, fun visualization of, like, this plan of attack they have to get him to go on a date with a woman.
Yeah, and she's like writing things and erasing them and crossing them out.
Yeah.
I was sort of confused by the quick cutaway, but his grandma is, like, screaming at him, and he loves it.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like with the dad situation where he's just smiling through it.
Yeah, it's very. I actually wrote down, can't decide if Hangul best character or just a little shit. Because it's very evident that, like, this isn't new for him. Like, I'm sure they've been on him about this before. This is not the first time he's had this conversation. And this is also, like, he knows that this isn't, like, malicious. Like, it's very interesting. It's very different to Dad, where I feel like if he was in the room with Dad and Dad had been like, blah, 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 he would be like, whatever, Dad. But, like, Grandma's yelling at him, and he's like, aw, Grandma. This is just what you're like.
Yeah, so the takeaways I got from his character in this sequence,
Mm-hmm.
he is a troubled playboy loafing around in America, possibly acting when he was supposed to get a master's in business administration, I think. Also, he's 29, so he's got 1 year before he turns into a pumpkin, I guess, and can't be married.
That's when it ends. You're 30, you can't date.
He knows how to push Grandma's buttons, though.
Yes.
In a very cute little line.
I really loved the whole little sequence of, like, Mom and Grandma talking with their eyebrows.
Oh, yes.
So good.
The telepathic communication.
Yeah.
And he's like, Grandma, do you want to get some shaved ice? And she's like, I would love that.
And Mom is like, no, you cannot. Mom, stop it.
Jabs her with her fingers.
Yes,
She's like, stay on target.
We need to get him to marry girl.
Oh, man. And then they slap a photo on the table.
Yes, that's right. This is when we get into, hey Hangul, so, like, you gay or what?
Something that I thought wouldn't really factor into the show at all. I thought this was just like a oh no, it's a gay panic, and then it's the catalyst for them trying to marry him off.
Yeah.
But we'll see how I was wrong about that in a little bit. They do another cutaway to a kid detective coming across a tree carving that says, "Show evidence."
That's right. And then we have the evidence of a picture of him, and I don't remember if he's smiling at the camera, and the guy he is with is giving a little peck on the cheek.
Yeah, and that man's name was Dick.
Oh my god, I didn't even...
He turns to Granny and he goes, "Oh, it's Dick." So they're very afraid. They mentioned objectively that it would be a disappointment to their family.
Oh, cool.
Which is something that I was prepared for. I know when this was made.
This is...
Yeah. All right, and that was when Mom and Grandma are communicating with twitchy facial expressions.
Yes.
And then we do a reverse shot of Han Kyul. Also, he's eating it up. He's like, yeah,
he's like eating. They've got this nice little like fruit platter on the table, and he's just like sitting back, being like, working into my plan, which is great.
And then we cut back to Un-chan, the first time we see her out of uniform, and I was very excited about this because I said to myself, thank God she dresses like a Kingdom Hearts protagonist.
It is. So there's like a cool, good portion of K-dramas that are all like classic 12th Night plotline, where it's like, for some reason, main girl needs to cross-dress and be boy, and then like love story takes place under that context of like getting to know each other without really knowing, that whole fucking thing. And this is one of the few where it's like, oh, it's not like the main character deliberately goes and like is disguising themselves as a boy. There's no big like hair cutting scene. Yeah. This is just Un-chan lives and just is very androgynous. Like, wears cool comfy clothes, whatever the hell she wants, you know, just kind of like... I mean, we even, a little later on, we do get encounter where it's like, oh, there's like, she's got to put on a skirt and heels, and she's like, I don't ever do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just have this person who is very, very androgynous, and just kind of, this is how she lives her life.
Not even intentionally exercising like visual K, but just sort of immersed in it.
So we do get to see her chilling, and yeah, Kingdom Hearts character, just chilling. Definitely not like, now that I'm out of my work uniform, I wear a dress to let everyone know that I'm a girl. Like, we don't even have that. We just right into it. This is my life.
So we're in their house, and Mom is talking on the phone, I believe, and she tells Sai, she says, cut the crap, as Sai rises from the toilet. So I took that to be...
Oh, are you talking about Sister Unse?
Unse. Oh, yeah. I'm saying Sai.
Yeah, it's, you know, Sai like Gangnam Style, right?
We love it.
He's in the drama.
So, she tells Sai to cut the crap.
Unse.
Oh, did I do it
also,
again?
it's both syllables are a part of her name.
Unse.
So, yes.
Unse.
Yeah.
All right, my apologies.
No, it's good.
So Mom tells Unse to cut the crap as she rises from the toilet.
Yeah.
I took the symbolism of this to be that this character would be full of shit. Just sort of moving forward, so I was going through it with that lens.
Very good.
Somebody who understands symbolism, tell me what this means.
Oh, also, earlier we did see Un-chan sees her mom walking down the street, and she's like, Mom, you wearing new shoes? And her mom is like,
Taking off,
yeah. So Un-chan comes home and is like, has already forgotten about it, but does end up mentioning it later and being like, Mom, you were wearing new shoes. Hey, what?
Yeah.
We don't have money.
Where'd that money come from?
What are you doing?
I really liked this scene because it's everybody's sort of sitting with their job.
Yes.
Because Mom is, she's shucking the walnuts, and Unse is sort of working on these dolls that
sewing the eyes onto the dolls.
Looked like Minions, but they weren't Minions.
They couldn't have been. I don't think Minions were around then.
Yeah, I would be very sad if they predicted Minions in episode 1 of Coffee Prince.
I think it's just the color scheme. They had like a yellow hat on.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, yes. So this is where they're chilling, and we kind of get a glimpse into what their life is like. You know, they're very run-of-the-mill family living in this apartment together. And Mom is on the phone, and then she mentions, oh, of course, the ring.
Yes.
I have the ring. And she takes off her glove, guess what's not there?
Is it the ring?
It's the ring!
Oh, no!
She's like, so she's talking on the phone trying to be like, it's fine. And then she hangs up and her 2 daughters are like, hey, Mom, what's going on? Why are you freaking out here? And her mom is like, we gotta find the ring. So it's big panic time because the ring is expensive, probably. Yes.
Interestingly enough, this plotline, I was expecting it to factor into like the back half of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's gone for now, but I'm interested in this invisible Dong-suk character and also this ring.
Yeah.
But did you catch Unse calls Un-chan boy all the time?
Yes.
Very cute.
Oh, in the translation you were watching, what was it saying like boy?
Yeah, boy.
Okay. So in the one that I was watching, it was translating it as like I guess transliteration is probably the wrong word, but it was basically just romanizing the word that they use, which is oppa, which is common for like there's like you know things about like Japanese and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and
you
this
know,
is
like,
very
honorifics.
similar to in certain cross-dressing dramas that we might talk about later in
Yes.
Japan.
Yes.
They can use ore as masculine self-identifying.
Yeah.
And at one point I've seen where a character will use ore and give themselves away, and then the other character comes in and is like, ole, ole, like trying to glaze over it.
So this is essentially, she's referring to her older sister as essentially a term for like older brother.
Oh.
You can also see it used by like friends and stuff. So at least the context that I've seen it used in my time watching these shows. But yeah, so I don't really know the like all of the culture behind it and like why, but I think it says something for like her sister kind of the younger sister views her older sister as kind of like an older brother character. Yes. Not like character, but kind of like as more of an older brother in her life, more as like a kind of that air as opposed to like an older sister, which is interesting.
I think that's a really interesting way of doing it instead of just translating it as boy.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
like, if you just called your older sister boy all the time, it might be a little less sincere or subtle.
Yeah. That's another thing is that we are both I think we both watched the show from different sources, which means that we got different translations, which means there are going to be some things that are like, because, you know, obviously we're not watching it in the source language, so, like, we don't always get the original meaning because things can kind of get twisted a little in translation, but...
We're also not even watching them together or concurrently.
Yes, we are watching these completely separately because I know that I will influence you if I sit there next to you. And then I was like, oh my god, I can't let him see my notes because like I realized that I wrote some things that are total spoilers.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
So, anyway... We gotta find this ring.
We do.
This ring is important.
Get your headlamps on.
Oh, yeah. I wrote down specifically angry broom smacking. Very good.
I did write that baby girl has a little freak out.
It's like, oh, God.
Just kind of smashing broom on the floor. And then we fade cut to a man walking his fluffy dog.
Yes, we meet a very good boy.
The dog or the character?
The dog! Of course! I mean, we meet the character and he seems like a cool dude, but like the dog is the most important.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I think I even wrote down a good boy appears just in all caps.
Oh wow. He's been getting secret admirer bread in the mailbox.
Yes.
For quite a while because he takes it out and just sort of throws it on the pile.
Yes.
I hope he at least donates them at some point.
I hope so too. I hope he's not just gonna hoard this bread until it goes stale.
The dog can't eat it. Like
can't feed it to the ducks either. That's bad for him.
He reminisces about a cool staring contest he had with his girlfriend.
Yes, he thinks about the very cute looking relationship that he had with his girlfriend, where they had a staring contest, and then they had like a nice little like blanket burrito hug.
Oh yeah, they totally fell off the bed at the end of that scene. You can see that it cuts like moments before disaster. I was a little sad they didn't leave that in, but I can see why.
Yeah.
There's nothing more romantic than just two people like wrapped in a blanket, unable to stop themselves from impacting the floor.
But yeah, so he's thinking back on this cute little relationship that he had, and does not have anymore.
Oh yeah, that's the implication. I thought it was his childhood room for a minute.
Yeah.
Before the flashback, because he's looking at his model plane that he has hanging from the ceiling.
Nah, he's just got an interest in him.
Oh yeah,
he just likes him.
And then we cut to the studio.
Yes, so we find out that he's a nice little like music producer.
I think that's a little later. I was talking about Han Yu-ju.
Oh, yes. Her. See, that's right. We find out that she's an artist.
Yeah,
We're
a
like,
good
oh,
artist,
cool.
too. With big
And
paintings.
we also see her drawing some flowers that maybe look a little bit like the flowers on the bread.
Oh,
did you notice?
No, I didn't.
That's like they kind of like have a shot of like the bread with the flowers, and then they're like, look at her painting flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's also confirmed that they're bagels, but I couldn't dig up a wiki page for Korean-style bagels. So
I don't even know.
We won't have a fun little Wikipedia dive on that.
Sorry, no cool fun research this time, folks. Only on the food, of course. Nothing else gets researched.
So Han-gyul is courting Han Yu-ju.
Yeah, he's got a little crush.
Oh, he's like a big crush.
He's got, It's we're kind of shown these characters that are obviously close with each other. And, you know, we don't get super into their relationship yet, the three of them.
Yes.
But
sort of a triangle, maybe?
You know, kind of like a triangle's got 3 points.
Yeah, there's
maybe.
3 of them. This is something that I want to know if you noticed this.
Yes. What?
He is sort of jogging when he's getting this good news, and then he hangs up and he starts like running, and he's like jumping up and dancing, and they're playing like an electronic version of Let's Get Physical.
I did not notice.
Oh yeah,
that is the song that was playing.
It's just kind of like da 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 da, and
oh
I was like,
God.
Is this Let's Get Physical in my K-drama?
Is this Let's Get Physical in my Coffee Prince?
And then I heard K-dramas took a lot of time for like dates to happen, but they just cut straight from that phone call to the date.
Okay, but that's not. It's not the. We've met our 2 main characters. Listen, we know who they are. They don't even know each other yet. That's anything else up for grabs as to how long or how quick or how slow it may take. But the main thing, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna give you 100% here.
Okay.
Classic though, like plot progression is slow burn.
Oh yeah.
Just like we turn it down to like you're trying to get below simmer setting on the stove. You're like, how close can I go without turning it off?
Excellent. I can't wait to get frustrated with this.
Uh-huh.
I wish they would just kiss already.
Oh my God, it's almost like that's. Wait a minute.
Somebody should copyright that.
Yeah, someone should grab that now. So yeah, so we see the relationship that we have between these three characters, and we're like, oh, and then we cut right back to cool scooter racing drama. Surprise! We were told it would be a scooter racing drama, and then it wasn't, but now it is.
Yes.
The delivery folk, they gotta go fast.
Let's see.
Yes. So Han-gyul is walking Han Yu-ju back from the date, and
yes.
we see, we get cuts to, like, Un-chan is riding on delivery scooter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another delivery scooter speeding up ahead of her. And she makes this comment that's like, of course, like, speed is the #1 thing in delivery.
It's the only reason.
So she's kind of racing. But then this delivery dude speeds past Yu-ju and snags her purse.
Yes.
And Un-chan is like, no, not in my delivery route.
Yeah.
And so she falls down because he like grabs it, and so she falls. Han-gyul has like gone inside for some reason and is like coming back out, and basically comes out to find her like on the ground.
He was going to get a gift, and he was gone for literally maybe a minute.
Yeah.
And in that time, Han Yu-ju's purse gets snatched, and then Un-chan comes up and blasts the thief with a helmet.
Yeah, is like, here you go.
Basketball style.
Really just gets him. And so she knocks him down, but then who is it but none other than CB Carrot Boy Charlie Brown.
The real protagonist.
The real protagonist of this show, of course. So she's kind of holding him down, and she recognizes him. So they're kind of having a little chat where she's like, what's going on over here? Meanwhile, Han-gyul comes down, is like, oh no, my date is on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta help her out. So they're having a little chat, and she's like, oh, my purse got stolen, but I think somebody caught the person. We cut back. And Un-chan is like, why are you stealing money, you punk? What's going on? And he's like, I was stealing it so I could support your sister's dreams.
Yes, single tier.
Yeah, single tier. So we're like, oh, okay, so he's dumb, and he's not, like, I guess, I don't know what the word to describe that behavior is, but it's like it comes from an okay place.
Are you trying to say he's got a heart of gold?
No, I'm trying to say he does at least have a heart. He's not just stealing from her to do it. He at least had a motive that wasn't
he was being a jerk even before that as a driver. Before he stole. True. And I think this was supposed to be that he was blocking Unchan, because every time she would move, it was going to be like, oh, he's right in front of me, I can't pass him.
Yeah.
But because they were probably filming this without permits on a real street,
yeah,
he was moving first for safety reasons, and she would move behind him. So...
I don't know how filming driving works, so I was sold on what they were trying to sell me.
I just love that this feels like it's guerrilla shooting, because on the date even, they're just walking past like these stalls, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine people just setting it up for this shot.
Yeah.
And also there was a restaurant sign blurred in the background above the steps where the alley scene takes place.
Well, there we go. Some things you got product placement for, and some things you do not.
Oh yeah, some people didn't want it.
So anyway, Unchan is basically like, oh, okay, I don't want to let this kid go to jail. Like, she's like, you know, I'm pretty sure he's in, like, high school, which is hilarious because he's, like, this tall, jacked man. But she's like, he's in high school and, like, he's dumb, but I don't want him to go to jail. So she is kind of like, okay, listen, we're gonna pretend like you pushed me off and you escaped, and then it's gonna be fine. But Unchan is a terrible liar.
Yeah.
We soon find out. So Hangil comes over, and Hangil is suspicious. He's like, something seems a little off about what's going on. They've been on the ground for a while. So Unchan is like, all right, ready? I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to let go, and you're going to run away. And we get no confirmation from CB whether or not he agrees or whether or not he wants to do it. So essentially they come over, and they're right there. And Unchan lets go, and CB does nothing. He lays there. And Unchan is like, dude. And Hangil is like, this is definitely fake.
Oh, yeah. Setting off all the alarms possible.
Yeah. So then we kind of get into this thing where it's like, oh, he ends up, running away, pushing him. Unchan does a very bad job of convincing anybody that it was not planned. And then Hangil is like, yeah, all right. So... Yuju is trying to be, like, nice. She's trying to be like, oh, well, like, thanks,
thank you.
and,
we'll pay for your repairs.
Yeah, and Hangil is just kind of like, here's my card if you want money.
Yeah, he says, like, call me if you want to confess. And it's like...
And Unchan gets mad because she's like, I'm not, hey, like, what? No, I'm not. It was from a good, hold on. Yeah,
and I wrote down, this is all a plot contrivance so we can start the relationship off at a negative.
Yes.
Where he dislikes her.
Because we have to dislike each other at the beginning.
Exactly.
We have to.
And also, this is the weirdest, like, here's my number ever.
Yeah.
Because Han Yuju already gives a number, and he's like, no.
Here's my number.
If you want to own up to your crime, con person... then give me a call.
I think that's the best part is he doesn't even go like, why don't we call the police? He's like, listen, here's my card. Poor boy. If you want to own up and tell me that you're wrong, drop on by. So now we've got that cool fun setup where our 2 main characters have finally met, and of course it is on bad terms.
Yes.
And also, this isn't even, there's one more thing we need to say about this scene. Because Unchan is on the ground, and Unchan looks up, and where does Unchan look? Directly at crotch area, and is like, I know who this is.
Oh, yeah.
Looks up and is like, So we've got some cool, fun dick recognition. We couldn't have let it go. We had to bring it back.
We will note for the viewers, as we said earlier, dick in, dick not out.
Dick in. Dick not out this time. But we still know.
We cut to Unchan, possibly the next morning, delivering milk.
Yes, doing one of her probably many part-time jobs.
Yes.
Delivering milk, having a good time, rolling up to a house, talking to a dog.
Yeah.
And we recognize this dog. We love this dog. This is the dog.
Yeah, it's Sprocket from Fraggle Rock. The dog looks just like the dog from Fraggle Rock who was named Sprocket.
All right.
And I wrote that in my notes.
I'm glad you did because I don't know what you're talking about, but I believe you.
Okay, his name's not Sprocket. She calls him Sweeper.
Yes. I also got Sweeper from my translation. So, yes, she calls him Sweeper, and she's a friend to dogs, which means, well, we gotta love her. She's gotta be great. And she's real cute, and then we do cut inside the gate, and we see our other boy, our boyfriend,
yes,
Han Sung, being like, what?
that was a very good comedy camera move to just sort of have her going, ow, with the dog, and then we just pan over a little bit and see he's sitting back towards the gate.
Like, hello.
So he tells, or rather she tells the dog, she's like, your owner should take you for a walk sometime.
Yeah.
Brighten up the neighborhood.
Very cute.
And then this scene closes in what must be my favorite moment so far. Of he steps out with the leash and the dog. She's already gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we get very tight shot on his face, and he goes, "What an interesting girl."
Oh,
and
yeah.
We'll call that 5 shadowing because it's a bit more than foreshadowing.
Yeah, we get a whole lot from that. So yeah, slowly but surely, all of our characters are kind of like creating their first impressions on each other, which is super fun. So we do have our first kind of like meeting of a couple of our characters, and it's very interesting because we have the meeting with our main boy Han-gyo, who immediately is like, "Hey, boy," and then we have the meeting with Han-sung, who he meets her without like seeing her, so he doesn't see her androgynous presentation. He only knows her from her voice, and he's like, "This is a girl." So now we've got this cool, fun.
Then we go back to the house, I believe.
Yes, we're back at home.
Where Unsei is just heaping rice into a bowl.
Yes.
And I'm like, is
hungry.
that for her? And then, no, they do a very sweet thing where she gives that bowl to Unchan as she's coming in. And it's like, oh, I know, my sister brother loves double portions.
Of course. My sister brother, who I love so much. Yes. So then, oh, yes. That's when they get a call. We get more into this whole, like, this family is having money trouble. The rent has been raised. And this is when we go back and we re-talk to our man of many, many hats.
I have a lot to say about the rent.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, I just wanted to call attention to some very nice writing that I enjoyed. Was in my translation, I got Unsei says something that sort of is a tricky trick, and Unchan is like, "Oh, you get bad grades, but you're a smooth talker." And then Sis fires back with, "Well, you get bad grades and you're not a good talker." And I was like, "Wow, that is very realistic to having siblings."
Yeah.
But this rent gets raised in the amount of $10,000. So I wrote here, like, let's unpack this. So there's a couple of options here. Either their current arrangement has run its course, like the lease is expired and needs to be renewed.
Okay.
Maybe their area was getting gentrified in the meantime, and now it's just $10,000 more. But is that $10,000 a month, or are they possibly paying back rent? Because if there's back rent here, because they mentioned, oh, he's been very considerate of us. It's like, why is he letting it got to the point of $10,000? He's collecting $10,000 back rent. Why did they buy new shoes? And then there's even a third option that he's just going full supervillain and he's raised the monthly rent by that much. And, like, how much notice is he giving them that he just calls them and is like, "Oh, hey, I need $10,000 from now on."
Stat.
But because the only reason they found out is because they picked up the phone. And if you've ever been in a situation where you're that behind on rent, your parents raise you telling you don't pick up the phone. This is the one plot inconsistency that I'm like, that wouldn't happen. He'd come by the house and we'd pretend we weren't there.
Did you think that the rent was raised by $10,000 or to $10,000?
I just tried to consider all possibilities.
Okay.
Because I couldn't imagine $10,000 a month.
I was under the impression that the rent was raised. It was something like near 10,000 before, and it was raised to 10,000. But I too like saw 10,000 a month and was like, no way. Like that place looks maybe the same size as where I live, and there's no way. But then I was like, oh, maybe it's not a month. I don't know.
I did consider the possibility.
I kind of took it at face value and was like, they need money.
Yeah, I think it might be like similar to yen, kind of, where maybe my translation didn't carry the zeros properly.
That's true. That's also a possibility.
Because they were just using...
kind of put the dollar sign there.
They put the dollar sign, and I was like, USD, it's been confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember seeing that number and being like, that seems like a lot, but kind of being like, I don't know. Maybe that's just what it's like in whatever neighborhood they live in. I guess.
Do have a note about the chestnut symbolism here. So Mama is always like shucking chestnuts by hand, which is very like hard and kind of painful to do.
Yeah.
They're part of the New Year's menu in Japan where they symbolize like success and hard times like at the same time. And they've literally been used in French literature. The phrase living off chestnuts was a reference to the character's poverty. So I'm like, oh, here we go.
We got it.
But this is where my next theory is.
Okay. Lay it on me.
The chestnuts have showed up twice.
Yes.
Coffee has not been mentioned yet, except that we found out very early on that Unchan is a big fan of coffee.
Yes.
I'm thinking that there's gonna be some chestnut coffee by the end of this.
Ooh.
But that's my long shot from watching episode 1.
Alright, so yeah, we're back to the house. Things aren't good. Real quick though, that's right, she runs to our cool combination poet, landlord, butcher man. And she's like, hey, the rent. And he's going off on his poetry time. And she's like, please, the rent. And he's going. And she's like, rent? And nope, no room. And she's like, right, never mind.
Kind of shuts her down without addressing what's going on.
Yes.
Because I didn't even get that he was the landlord until we started talking about this.
Yeah.
I thought he was just the butcher and she was trying to borrow some money.
Yeah.
But he has a nightmare about being suffocated to death under a cow's breasts.
Of course.
And that inspired his poem, Raw Meat Infinite Hexahedron.
Oh!
Did you get an alternate title, perhaps?
I didn't write down what the title is, but I don't remember that word.
I looked it up. That's the D6.
Ah,
so it's a cube of beef.
Ooh. So, yeah. So he kind of shuts her down and she runs off.
I have a note here that I would like to share.
Yes, please tell me.
The next scene I wrote, cut to produce 4, where Han Sung is listening to people record a Chili Peppers song.
Of course. Yeah. So we cut to his job, which is, surprise, it's a music producer. And he's listening and he's having a time. And then he gets told, hey, you've got a visitor. And he's like, right. And he goes and guess, who is it, Jeron?
It's Juyu.
His ex.
Oh.
Yuju. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I do have to look at what I wrote down. Yuju, who is his ex, and she's like, hey. And he's like, what do you want? And we have this really, awkward ex talk.
It was the stiffest, body portrayal I've ever seen, because he's just sort of clenched every muscle in his body while she's talking to him.
Yeah, it's very, this is not a breakup on good terms, we do not, we find out.
Yeah, he says, you walked out of my life and now you walk back in, and then he chucks his can of coffee at the wall.
Yeah, he's like, alright, goodbye, and then, out of a spurt of anger, just, good. God.
And then he says, by the way, I don't even eat bagels anymore. And then it's like, oh, she's the one who's been giving him the breads.
That's right. That's right. So we have this cool, fun, tense ex talk. We find out what the relationship between these exes really is right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
No.
Then we cut to Unchan gets a call that's like, hey, can you take over for me for a night at this job at a wine bar?
A wine bar?
And she's like, yeah. So we do cut to Hangul and Hansung chatting it up. The boys having wine. Sipping some wine, talking about girls.
Talking about girls.
Talking about one girl specifically, yeah. And then we see Unchan is now at this wine bar, and we get this really just she runs up and is like, hey, what's the job I need to do? And they're like, here's your outfit. You gotta serve the wine. You gotta do just basically whatever we need you to do, you're gonna do it.
She says, can I work in the kitchen? And
yeah, because
no.
she is given dress shirt with a vest and then this long tight skirt with a big slit.
Yes.
And she very much holds it up. We get this just pants girl encounters skirt for first time and is like, what am I looking at?
Tries to put it on like jeans.
Yeah, tries to put on jeans, tries to put it on her head, is like, what? I think my favorite part is she picks up these heels and she just goes, this is crazy. Because those are not comfy working heels, I'll tell you what.
That outfit though slapped.
Yeah.
That was a really good look.
So she puts on her outfit and she's like, time to go work. And as soon as she goes out, she's like, all right, what do I need to do? And one of the other girls is like, oh, there's one of the guys, one of our customers is passed out. Can you call the taxi? And she goes, yeah, and immediately picks him up.
Hoisted.
And puts him on her back. And is just kind of like, tell me where you live so I can put you in the cab. And so we get this cool, fun, just a cool other side. Not even other side, just a little bit more about Unchan's personality that is just kind of like not about the skirt, not about the heels, but can pick up a drunk man like dead weight and...
If there's a problem, she'll solve it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we do get kind of like the glimpse to Hangul and Hansung, and you can kind of see they're like, what? And like Hansung is kind of like, nice.
Yeah. And then we cut to a little bit later in the night as the wine boys are like hailing a cab.
Yes.
Unchan dances out with some trash bags.
Oh yeah, she's dancing and singing. She's gotten used to these heels, I guess, because she's just kind of like jogging down, trash bags in hand.
Couldn't tell if she was supposed to have been drunk, but I'm assuming not.
I don't think so. I think she was just having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, she likes to have fun.
She gets a hold of some bubble wrap.
Yes, she finds bubble wrap in the trash and is like, hell yeah. And Hansung is just kind of like standing there, like smiling, being like, all right, like, hey. And she notices him and she's like, hey.
She recognizes him as Sweeper's owner.
Yes, that's right. She does.
Very interesting. And then goes, oh yeah, Sweeper, because he sweeps the neighborhood. And Hansung kind of goes, oh no, his name is Terry. And I'm like, oh. Why didn't you name him Sweeper?
It was such a missed opportunity, really.
Oh. And then she even gives him a little, like, ow, I think.
And then she's like, you want to pop some bubble wrap?
Oh, yeah.
So we get introduced to this very adorable side of her that's just kind of like, hey.
And then to punctuate, like, this nice kind of semi-romantic moment, she goes, what's more important to you, money or pride?
Yeah. We gotta.
Very, very sharp turn in the conversation. And he doesn't really have time to answer, I don't think. And the next part of the episode is where kind of the low point for me.
Yeah.
Where we cut to the club that is not playing the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh my god, I even wrote down, when we cut to this scene of the club, there is a man in a green shirt at the front of the scene, and he's getting it. He's having a great time at the club. He's dancing. I'm like, that guy, that's who you gotta be at the club, honestly.
Hangul gets approached by, I described it as a fangirl, or...
Yeah, it's very evident that, you know, he's spent his time around the clubs. He's got his group of friends that are there, and they're like, hey, buddy, like, what's up? And there's a girl who's like, oh my god, it's been so long, but let's, you know...
Drink.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't drink, so I'm like, okay, this is a common protagonist move. Mm-hmm. It's also a common fan fiction move. You have a character who doesn't drink so that when you give him drink, he can act however and be as uninhibited as you need.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that where we're going with this? But it takes a much worse turn.
He just passes out.
Unconscious.
Cold. Just smack.
And his friends, who obviously know how he feels about this girl, watch him get loaded into a cab.
I am pretty sure I wrote down, like, terrible friends sending him off into a cab with this girl who is, like, obsessed with him and who is, like, actively trying to get him drunk because she knows she'll be able to, like...
Oh, yeah.
So that's not good.
And I didn't write what they said exactly, but I have in quotes here, like, hope you score. Like... Yeah. Just like, the most uncomfortable.
Real bad.
A very nice shot, like transitioning perspectives of the cab and then panning up to the bus where Unchan.
I did write this down. I was like, we've got this, because this entire episode we've very much been showing, like, this is Unchan's life and this is Hangul's life. And Unchan's life is like, I don't have money, we're struggling for money, you know, we have to do things like sewing eyes onto dolls and like peeling chestnuts to get by, and like Hangul has all of these jobs and is like, or Unchan has all of these jobs, and now I'm gonna be calling him the wrong name. And then Hangul, on the other hand, like, lives in this fancy house, just came back from, like, a trip abroad, you know, is able to just go out for a night with wine with his boy and have a good time.
Go to wine night and then also the club later.
Yeah, he doesn't even, like, he has his wine, but then he's like, you know what I need? To go to the club. So he's obviously doing fine, and she's obviously struggling in terms of where they are in life.
Yes.
And we get this really, really nice parallel with that, where, like, he is in a cab after a night out. I mean, like, it's not a good, like, after a night out with a girl, because he is unconscious, and she did very much just drag him in there and is, like, planning to pretend, like, basically pull over his head that, like, be like, now we gotta.
I don't want to read too much into this, but, like, just talking about it now, it's kind of interesting how, they're both being driven somewhere, so it's both they're not in control, and it's for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, Han-kyul possibly drugged, possibly just passes out.
Maybe
I feel like we're keeping it light.
I feel like we're trying our best to be like, he doesn't drink, so one shot, just got it.
And then she's literally, like, doing the math of her financial situation.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, a cool moment of, like, we're both not really in control of where we're going now.
Yeah, regardless of the situation, both of us are not. Because we also, although we see him having this lavish life, it's also very evident that he's, like, not. Like, you know, he's home and he wants to do what he wants to do and everyone is telling him what he needs to do.
He's beholden to his investors.
Yeah, yeah. So...
We cut to the hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote here, all caps, she undresses Han-kyul and just straight up touches his tit. Just for, like...
just like she just got
I think it was the actress did it accidentally, kind of cupped it and then, like, readjusted to lay across the chest. But it definitely happened. Yeah.
We're kind of put under this impression. I don't know if it's worse that it's honestly, we're put under this impression that it's going to be like, oh, this is like just straight up like, she's going to try and get some. But it's not even that. She just kind of like wants him to believe that they did so that she can be like, hey, now we've got a date? I don't know where her plan was going.
I was like, is this a blackmail setup?
Right,
or
like...
just things that I've seen before. There's never been anything like this before in 2007.
Yeah, dude, welcome. So yeah, we cut to this hotel room and she's trying to formulate some plan to be with him. Somehow she thinks this is going to work.
Meanwhile, Eun-chan is deciding that money is indeed greater than pride.
Yes, she's like, listen, I need money.
Pride will not put bread on the table. They show her the interesting shot of her, like, laying awake all night thinking about it.
I do love the, like, I'm laying on my bed just kicking at the air. It's very, very good.
So then we have the first phone call. We see it from Eun-chan's perspective.
Yes.
Just her being like, okay, I'll come.
So she takes up on the give me money because I stopped the thief. Doesn't even think about the fact that when he gave her the number, he was like, if you want to, like, admit to what you did. She's just kind of like, nah, it'll be fine.
I think that was intentional because of something that he says in a bit.
Yeah.
When she shows up to the hotel room, his first line was, oh, you actually came.
Yeah. And she's like, yep.
Very cute, though, that she hypes herself up on the way into the building.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she comes in and she's like, hey, here I am. You gonna give me that money?
Yes, and very important for our listeners, we said we would notify you. The dick is out once more.
One more time.
Mirroring the first scene. He's back in the robe. It's just out there.
We gotta. It's a very important plot point in this episode. Is Han-kyul's dick in or out of his pants?
Wild things happens when it's out. And
it really drives the plot forward when it's dick is out.
If we condensed it to the critical moments of this episode,
it's
high percentage of dick out, at least 66.
So yeah.
I have a note here. This is a terrible power dynamic for what I know will eventually become a relationship.
Of course.
So in the meta context, like, I know these are our two leads and there's going to be a relationship between them, but this is so scummy feeling to see, like, hello, down on your luck, economically disadvantaged girl who works very hard. I am leisure child. Come beg me for money. And I'm like, not tasty.
We also do get just, like, hard on Han-kyul is like young boy.
Oh,
and Eun-chan has the chance to, like, straight up be like, I'm not, and doesn't say anything. She's just kind of like, she thinks about it and then she doesn't.
Yeah, I like that decision.
Which actually reminds me, oh my gosh, I forgot to mention this. Earlier on, when Eun-chan comes back from the whole scuffle of the scooters, because her scooter got, her delivery scooter got, like, wrecked. So she comes back to her job, she goes and sees her boss, and is basically like, wrecked the scooter.
Oh, you're right.
Her boss literally says to her, I employed a girl because it's cheaper.
Yes.
Like, straight out there basically tells us all that, like, not only is like, we are living in a society where we, like, pay women less, it's like, we pay women less and we know we do.
Yes.
So it's very out there that it's like, it is to Eun-chan's advantage that she looks androgynous because she can, like, it's more advantageous in this society to be a man, which I mean, like, you know.
That's a really interesting reading because for some reason, this is probably just my weird schema, but when he said, "Oh, I hired a girl because it was cheaper," my mind went to insurance on the scooter. Like, I'm completely wrong, I can tell now, but that was a very good point you made.
Yeah.
And I didn't really ever think about it as being to her advantage that she can play both sides, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was like a conscious, like, middle of the road decision.
Having that kind of thing did make me wonder if when she was confronted with it, if in her head it, like, because she almost did be like, I'm a girl, but she was like, you know what, I'm not gonna. And I wonder if it was just kind of a, like, I'm gonna be quiet in the situation and not, like, make a fuss because I'm trying to get money out of this person. Or if it was like a, maybe it's better that he thinks I am.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. It's a very interesting little bit here.
Yes. So, yeah, we're in this hotel room, and he's like, give me money. And also, this girl comes out, and she's like, hey.
Yeah, no, very interesting
oh my gosh,
series
that's
of
right.
events.
We have, of course, they have to fall on top of each other.
Oh, before that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Hong-gyul comes out of the shower sort of after being like, get out of here, woman who...
Yeah.
I wasn't even drunk. I was aware the whole time and wanted to see what you would do.
Yeah,
which I felt
really,
like that was a lie.
I don't know how, yeah.
And then he's like, get out of here. And he gets out of the shower when Un-chan is showing up. And then during the sort of tussle that they have, she also comes out of the shower in a robe.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, you just stuck around for the shower after he told you to get?
No, she was like, I'm taking a shower.
And then they fall on each other.
So yes, they fall on each other. She is, of course, on top of him. And of course, when we fall on top of each other in
your
any
robe
kind
opens.
of... Yeah. Your robe opens. When we fall on top of each other in any kind of romance, anything, we don't immediately get up. We have to lay there for a second and look at each other. And like, recognize the fact that we're on top of each other and, like, sit in it for a little bit before we can even think about getting up.
Yeah, recognizing again that his dick is out.
Of course. It's out. It's there. This girl comes out of the shower, just sees them on the ground, dick out, body to body, and is like,
planking.
Are you gay?
Hong-gyul, are you gay?
And she just is, like, not having it.
No, they get real angry. They start peeking the mic with their argument back and forth.
Yes.
He throws 2 women out of his hotel room and then prepares for his day full of 6 blind dates.
Yes. Also, before he throws them out, he does... I didn't write down what the comment was, but he does make a comment to Un-chan that makes Un-chan very mad, and she starts being like, apologize to me. Like, that was not okay.
Yes.
And
that was about her family.
Yes.
He was like, you probably learned how to beg from your parents. And
yes,
like,
and Un-chan is like, apologize to me right now. Han-gyul's having none of it, throws them both out. They're both just, like, banging on the door in this, like, 5-star hotel.
Very funny.
Very good scene. And then he's like, all right, time to go date some women.
Oh, yeah. It's I'm very glad you remembered that, because that's very important for what happens next, which is she takes the day off to harass him.
She also did get fired from her delivery job, so, I mean... Whoops.
I love that this took precedence, though.
Yeah.
Like, even if she had lost her job, somebody who was doing the financial math on the bus last night is like, you know what? My schedule just opened up.
So she is here, she is mad, and she wants an apology.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like Han-gyul is having a good time anyway. We get cool, fun clips of all of his dates, and they're all just not...
They're not real people.
Yeah,
One of them says, you know, I've always wanted to be poor, own an apartment and beauty shop in Gangnam.
One of them just, like, barks at him?
Yeah, she goes,
what?
Let's see. They even use picture-in-picture, which is another interesting camera thing here.
Yes.
And one lady speaks pretty good English. Correction, she flirts pretty good in English at him, which I thought was fantastic. One lady had a long tongue.
Yeah, she just kind of goes, can your tongue do this? And just sticks out her tongue and it touches her chin.
And in the background, we see Un-chan is just having a great time, drinking orange juice, and somebody's like, hey, you can't lay down on this couch. And she says, oh, if I've done wrong, I'll apologize. I'm sorry. And then walks out of the restaurant bowing. And then see her again with the sign that she made.
On the window.
Plastered.
Apologize.
Makes a little megaphone out of paper. And she's like, apologize. Just over his shoulder.
Oh man. So yeah, we have this whole kind of sequence until finally Han-gyul escapes his dates to go to the bathroom, and Un-chan rolls up, pops into the bathroom, says, hey, apologize to me.
Exactly.
And Han-gyul turns around, and this is where we get our really fun screen cap to end the episode. He kind of like, he looks at her. He goes like, "Hey, why don't you like turn around?"
Yeah,
and
who are you calling gay? Spin around.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, spins around, and then is like, and we just end on, "Do you want to be my lover?" End of episode.
Oh, yeah.
Freeze frame.
Freeze
roll
frame.
credits.
Incredible.
Very, very good way to end our first episode.
I was so surprised by this 2007 media. It completely next leveled me. I was like, there's 4 seconds left. When are we gonna like get to the thrust of this? And then I've heard like, oh, there's fake girlfriend plots, but I've never heard of be my fake boyfriend plot.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely excited. Just very happy with this show.
Oh my god, yeah. There we have it, folks. Episode 1 of Coffee Prince.
In the bag.
In the bag, slam dunk. So, okay. Episode 1, we set up a lot. It's very much kind of like we had to meet all the characters, we had to see their relationships, we had to give them a starting point to go from. So, where are we right now?
So we have the love triangle between Yuju, Hangyul, and Hansung?
Hansung, yeah.
Hansung.
Yeah, producer boy.
Yes, we have that love triangle that's now being intruded upon by Eun-chan.
Yeah, that's right, she enters. We
do have the setup of the relationship between Eun-se and Charlie Brown.
CB. Our lovely boy.
Yes. I'm predicting that like that's gonna maintain.
Yeah.
Because she shows him like a little bit of sympathy because he is trying to save money for her dance.
Okay.
We have the establishment of coffee in the series.
Yes.
That's like Hangul's family fortune. Mm-hmm. We also have established the trend of whenever Dick is out in the scene, the plot progresses. And
which, oh my god, okay, so like we talked about actual Dick being out. That's very important.
True.
There was one moment, however, where there was a bit more of a metaphorical Dick, you could say, when he's sitting with Mom and Grandma and they're talking and they slap the picture. You know how you said, oh, the name that they mention of the guy in the picture is Dick.
No way.
Well, Dick was out.
And
the plot moved forward.
So yeah, I'm calling that as well. I think there's going to be like intermittent nudity that progresses the plot.
Honestly, in like a cross-dressing drama, like it feels like
unavoidable.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh god. I'm not gonna tell you anything, but I love this prediction.
All right.
It's such an interesting trend. All right. So yeah. So as far as watching like a K-drama for the first time, but also, like, just really dipping your toes into, like, rom-com content, kind of, like... Now, I, for one, am a rom-com connoisseur, I would say. I watch this kind of stuff all the time. Like, this is, like, my main genre, what I'm always into. But I know for you, it's not as big of your, like, your go-to. So, what are kind of, like, your feelings on, you know, this first episode and getting into it?
First episode, definitely more comedy than rom.
Yeah.
I think that's good service to the plot. We have characters going through very extreme situations. Like, this poverty they're facing seems kind of unreal. So just having it played for laughs, it makes it a bit more palatable. Like, it makes it feel like everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Which is what you kind of want, I think, for these. The style of, like, shooting and just the general, like, I don't want to say filmmaking, but, like, show running going on.
Yeah.
I love that they're just shooting on, like, actual city streets. There's, like, restaurant signs blurred out in the background.
Yeah.
Like, they're just taking the camera and going, and it's, like, it gives it a very, like, real, lived-in feeling, which is, like, a lot of American media is very, like, we filmed on this set, and it's very obviously a set because you'll never see the ceiling of this building ever. I loved a lot of the locations, like that overgrown diner looks fantastic. The puff of dust that comes out when she sits on the chair. Yeah. Remember that very well. They also have a lot of quirkiness, which I think has to do with it being from a culture that I don't normally consume media from.
That's true.
I loved the drawing of the faces during the eating contest.
Yeah,
on top of the film.
I love all the little things like that.
I love the picture-in-picture during the speed dating sequence. Just those little things really keep like my visual interest high just while I'm watching these, and it keeps me because obviously I have to read the subtitles. Yeah. But it really, it's dynamism, and that's so good coming off of a lot of like American TV shows that are just shot reverse shot static talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I'm glad that you liked it so much, because, you know, I mean, like, obviously, it's a little near and dear to my heart, but also, I think that, so it's been a little bit since I've rewatched this particular drama, but it's also been a bit since I've watched one that isn't, like, kind of modern. Like, I feel like lately a lot of the content I've been consuming is stuff that has come out recently, or at least in the past couple of years, and it's definitely a very different feeling, just like, you know, the things that are going on, but also, you know, a lot of those small things that you mentioned, like the picture-in-picture and the little animations, we don't see that as much in some of the more modern ones. It's definitely kind of like a trademark of the dramas of the time, and I really, really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I feel like it's something that I don't see in any other, I don't want to say any other genre, because I haven't seen, like, so many of them, but any of the other, like, definitely, like, American media, that's hardly ever there in TV shows and stuff. So I like it a lot. Rewatching this drama definitely reminds me of, like, what it was like when I was first getting into this kind of stuff, because I definitely, like, the time that I watched Coffee Prince was, like, the time that I was discovering that the genre of, like, rom-com kind of content was something that I really, really liked, and just kind of, like, one of the things that really did pull me in was that quirkiness of the characters and that playfulness that they all seem to have. The fact that it doesn't take itself too seriously, and that the thing that really pulls you in is not so much, like, the story of the romance, but they kind of, like, get you with the characters first, you know? They get you with this life that they have and these quirks that they have, and, like, you know, God, I love Unchen, and, like, just, like, you know, her going ow with dogs and, you know, running around in heels even though she's just put them on for the first time, and, like, stumbling and trying to put on a skirt like pants. She's just a very lovable character, and, like, honestly, I probably wouldn't care about the romance not nearly as much if I hadn't first loved those two characters. So it's really great, and I'm really glad that I'm rewatching it, and I'm very excited to share it with my cool friend, aka you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Well, that's all we've got for episode 1. So next up, we'll be taking on episode 2 as chronological order dictates. We could skip ahead, but we're not gonna. I didn't do anything wild.
Yeah, I need that context.
Yeah, I mean, we ended with "Be My Lover," so we gotta know what happens next.
Yeah, she's gotta get with his thing.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so catch y'all next time, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.